Welcome to week 3. So we've been building awareness. Week 1, we talked about what created your anxious attachment, the childhood wounds, the meaning you made, the survival patterns you adopted. And week 2, we talked about why you react instead of respond, and how your nervous system is stuck at the age of the trauma and the energy dynamics that show up when you're triggered. Now, this week, we're going deeper. We're going to look at how your parents taught you what love is, and how those lessons, those unconscious patterns you absorbed as a child, are still running your relationships today. Because here's the thing. Your parents were your first teachers about love. And whatever they taught you, consciously or unconsciously, is still playing out in every relationship you have. So this week, we're making those patterns visible so you can finally choose differently. Let's begin. Your parents or whoever raised you were your first teachers about love. They taught you what love looks like, what love feels like, what to expect from people, and how relationships work. And here's the critical part. You didn't learn this from what they said. You learned it from what you felt and from what you observed, from how they showed up or didn't show up for you. So a child's brain is like a sponge. You were absorbing everything. How your parents showed affection or didn't, and how they handled conflict, how they expressed their needs or suppressed them, how they treated each other. So what they modeled about safety, consistency, availability, you are watching and you are learning. This is what love is. This is what relationships look like. This is what I can expect from people. And those lessons, those unconscious patterns, are still running in your nervous system today. They're showing up in who you're attracted to, how you handle conflict, whether you express your needs or silence them, whether you choose people who are available or people who are distant. All of it traces back to what you learned from your parents. So let's talk about what you actually learned by watching your parents. How they showed affection or didn't. Did your parents hug, kiss? Did they say, "I love you"? Or was affection rare, uncomfortable, conditional? And what did you learn about physical touch, emotional warmth? Did you learn that affection is freely given or that it has to be earned? And how they handle conflict. Or when your parents disagreed, what happened? Did they yell, stonewall, shut down, leave? Or did they talk about it through calm and repair and regulation? And what did you learn about conflict? Did you learn that conflict is dangerous? That it means someone's leaving? Or did you learn that conflict is normal and can be resolved? How they express needs. Did your parents ask for what they needed? Or did they suppress their needs and build resentment? Did one parent do all the giving while the other took? And what did you learn about expressing needs? Did you learn that needs are valid and should be spoken? Or did you learn that needs are burdensome and should be hidden? How they treated each other. How did your mom treat your dad? And how did your dad treat your mom? Was there respect, kindness? Or was there control, criticism, distance? And what did you learn about how people treat each other in relationships? What they modeled about safety, consistency, availability. Did your parents show up consistently? Or were they unpredictable, sometimes loving, sometimes distant? Did you feel safe in your home? Or did you feel like you were walking on eggshells? What did you learn about safety in relationships? Did you learn that people are reliable? Or did you learn that love is uncertain and can be taken away at any moment? So all of these things, every single observation taught you what love is. And those lessons are still running today. So let's talk about the unconscious patterns you might have absorbed. So these are the beliefs you learned without anyone explicitly telling you. You just absorb them. So, love equals performance. If your parents only gave you attention when you achieved something, when you got good grades, won awards, made them proud, you learn like love is something I have to earn. And now as an adult, you perform for love. You achieve, you excel, you try to be perfect because deep down you believe if I'm not performing, I'm not worthy of love. So next one is love equals conditional. If your parents' love felt conditional, if it was there when you were good and gone when you were bad, you learned love depends on my behavior. So now as an adult, you're terrified of making mistakes. You walk on eggshells. You try to be whoever you think the other person needs, because you believe if I mess up, they'll stop loving me. Love equals sacrifice. If you're watching one parent sacrifice everything for the other, give and give and give and give without receiving, you learned love means giving up yourself. And now as an adult, you overgive. You abandon your needs. You make yourself smaller because you believe if I'm not sacrificing, I'm not loving. Love equals control. If one parent controlled the other, made all the decisions, dismissed their input, dominated, you learned love means someone has power over you. And now as an adult, you either let people control you because that's what love feels like, or you control others because you're terrified of being controlled. Love equals distance. If your parents were emotionally distant, physically there but emotionally unavailable, you learned love doesn't include emotional intimacy. And now as an adult, you're either attracted to emotionally unavailable people because that's what love feels like, or you're terrified of getting close because closeness feels foreign and unsafe. So do you see kind of now how these patterns are formed? Not because your parents sat you down and told you these things, but because you felt them in your body. You absorbed them. And now they're running your life. Now let's talk about gender, because your parents also taught you what to expect from men and women. What did mum teach you about women and men? And how did your mum talk about men? Did she trust men, fear them, resent them, worship them? And how did she talk about women? Did she trust women, compete with them, see them as threats? And what messages did you absorb? So if your mum was anxious and clingy with men, you might have learned men are unreliable. You have to chase to keep them. And if your mum was dismissive of men, you might have learned men can't be trusted. They'll hurt you. And if your mum put men on a pedestal, you might have learned men are more important than me. I should make myself smaller for them. And what did dad teach you about women and men? How did your dad talk about women? Did he respect them, dismiss them, objectify them? How did he talk about men? Did he model healthy masculinity, toxic masculinity, emotional unavailability? What messages did you absorb? So if your dad was emotionally distant, you might have learned men don't do emotions, they shut down. If your dad was controlling, you might have learned men dominate. That's what power looks like. If dad was absent, you might have learned men leave, I can't rely on them. So what did you learn about what to expect from relationships based on what you saw? What did you learn to expect? Did you learn that relationships are safe and stable? Relationships are chaotic and unpredictable? One person gives and the other person takes. Love requires sacrifice. Conflict means the relationship is ending. Needs should be hidden. Whatever you learned then, you're expecting now. Now, before we go any further, I need to say this. This isn't about blaming your parents. It's not about making them wrong. It's not about holding them responsible for everything that's hard in your life. Your parents did the best they could with what they had. They were doing their version of survival. They were carrying their wounds. They were repeating their patterns and probably didn't even know they were teaching you these things. But here's the thing. You can have compassion for them and still choose to heal. You can acknowledge they did their best and still acknowledge that their best wasn't enough. You can love them and still break the pattern. So this work isn't about blame. It's about awareness and acceptance. Because you can't change what you can't see. And right now we're seeing the patterns clearly. So you can finally choose differently. So this week, you're going to do the parent-child pattern assignment. You're going to answer questions about your mom and your dad. And it might bring up a lot. Grief, anger, sadness, compassion, all of it. So here's how to approach it. Number one, be honest. Don't sugarcoat. Don't make them look better than they were. Write what's true, not what you wish was true. Number two, have compassion for them. Remember, they were doing the best they could with what they had. They are human. They were carrying their own wounds. This isn't about villainizing them or blaming them. Also, you want to have compassion for yourself. So you were a child. You didn't have a choice in what you learned. You absorbed what was modeled to you. And now you're choosing to unlearn it. So this takes courage. Also, number four, I want you to don't rush this. Take your time with this assignment. Let emotions come up. Cry if you need to. Get angry if you want to. Just feel it all. This assignment is the foundation for understanding your triggers. Because the patterns you learn from your parents, those are the patterns showing up in your triggers today. Breaking the cycle means first understanding what the cycle is. You can't break what you can't see. So this week you're going to see what your parents taught you about love, how those lessons are showing up in your adult relationships today, and what patterns you're ready to stop repeating. And once you see it clearly, you can choose differently. So you're not doomed to repeat your parents' patterns. I know we think that sometimes. You're not stuck in the cycle forever. You get to break it. But first you have to understand what it is. And that's what this assignment is all about. So this week you're going to complete the parent-child pattern assignment. I want you to answer the questions about your mom and to answer the questions about your dad. And see the connections to your adult relationships. And remember, you're not healing to make your parents wrong. You're healing to make yourself free from repeating their patterns. This might be hard. It might bring up emotions you've been avoiding, but that's the work. Feeling, seeing, choosing differently. In the next video, we'll talk about triggers and how the patterns you just uncovered are showing up as triggers in your relationships today. But first, do this assignment, see the patterns clearly, and know that awareness is the first step to freedom. I'll see you in the next video.